Shalakhya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Jala Hrimadevi Bhakti Vikas Swami Namani Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Swami Saraswati Devi Gurvanchar Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Panchati Deshkarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Shivasadi Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Parivachala Mangalam Vayadagiri Mitkrapad Mahmande Shri Guru Nirvaram Parvam Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tatare Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadvaktaya Namo Namaha Vagishaya Svadane Lakshmi Jasya Savakshasi Yasyaste Hridaya Samritam Nasamaham Bhajet Yanta Pravishu Macha Mahaprasuptam Sanjivayate Kilashakti Dharasvadan Yam Chasta Chakana Shunatavadi Pranam Pushaya Guru Harivanya Krishna Chittu Ridha Viktrigeha Dada Samsara Pupa Prabhajan Sukata Hare Krishna. So we are reading preaching to leaders. So suggesting, inviting and insisting. So that is the topic. Okay. Invite them, convince them. We have got answers for everyone. Our big scientist, big philosopher, big politician, Bhagavat has answered everyone. We invite all important men to contact us and try to understand the basic principle of this movement, how to elevate the human society to the proper standard of life and become peaceful in this life as well as in the next life. I invite all responsible guardians of this country to understand this transcendental movement and then give us all honest facilities to spread it for everyone's benefit. If one is advanced in knowledge, he must always be prepared to sacrifice anything for a better cause. The present moment, the entire world is in a dangerous position under the spell of godless civilization. The Krishna consciousness movement needs many exalted, learned persons who will sacrifice their lives to revive God consciousness throughout the world. We therefore invite all men and women advanced in knowledge to join the Krishna consciousness movement and sacrifice their lives for the great cause of reviving the God consciousness of human society. Prabhupada would have written in this quote in Bhagavatam purport long back in 1970s. So my point is here that here Prabhupada is writing at the present moment, because at that time is in dangerous position and it is now also in dangerous position and future also it will be in dangerous position. So Prabhupada's books are past, present and future. All the three phases of time it discusses. It's not that at that time when Prabhupada was writing, the world was in dangerous position. Now it is not. It is still more degraded. So this is very, very important. The Prabhupada's books transcend time. So these are not according to time, place, circumstance. For every time, for every place, and every circumstance, for every human being, Prabhupada's books apply. Yes. Am I right?
Yes, Prabhu, you're right.
Or exhort them. Though continuing to read. Or exhort them. Those who are intelligent should come forward and cooperate with this movement. Philosophers, religionists, and people in general must take to this movement very seriously. For man-made plans, devices will not help bring peace on earth. The leading men should understand the aim of life and introduce it in the society for the general benefit of the human society. Those who are sane men, actually philosophers, should take up this Krishna consciousness. It is the best philosophy and best utilitarian product. They should take it seriously. Any sane man, any thoughtful man should try to understand the importance of this movement and they should come and help. They should help me. The Krishna consciousness movement offers the topmost welfare activity for human society. The saner section of human society must therefore take this movement very seriously for the benefit of all humanity. In this material world, everyone is trying to counteract the onslaught of material nature, but everyone is ultimately fully controlled by material nature. Nature, Prakriti, is so strong that no one can overcome its stringent laws. So-called scientists, philosophers, religionists, And politicians should therefore conclude that they cannot offer facilities to the people in general. They should make vigorous propaganda to awaken the populace and raise them to the platform of Krishna consciousness. At the very least, Srila Prabhupada wanted intelligent persons to understand the most basic facts about human existence. Our mission is that intelligent persons of the world may know that simply seeking after sense gratification is not the aim of life. Actually, I was thinking while distributing books, we were realizing that actually, if we speak to the people very consciously and very carefully and very sincerely, if we want to preach, there are so many people, they will accept that sense gratification is not the aim of life. But what to do? They are in that friend circle, or they are in that whirlpool, in that giant wheel, that they cannot come out of that particular mentality. Otherwise, we meet so many people every day. Everybody accepts what we say, but when it comes to practice, that is where the problem comes. So that's why they should associate with devotees again and again and again and again and again, every time and now. Or devotees should give association to the karmis or the people, normal public, again and again and again, so that their response gratificatory propensity will reduce and they want to do what actually soul's interest is all about, or Krishna's interest is all about. Mhm. So it is the effort of the devotees and the effort of the person. But if we want to give more and more sincere association for people, that we want to give Krishna consciousness to them, there are so many people waiting outside, those who are actually waiting for this knowledge. There are many, 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 many people. Our efforts are very less. There are many, many people who are sincerely waiting for this knowledge, waiting for the books, waiting for the association of devotees. And Prabhupada has given us the opportunity. We should take the credit in giving them the association through books, through personal association, giving them knowledge, speaking to them again and again. Who will speak to them? Nobody will speak to them. So we are giving our time, we are giving our energy so that people will get that small glimpse of Krishna consciousness. Their efforts, you can see from their hair, from their dress, from their eating, from their habits. We can see that they are not even, they don't have even inclination for Krishna consciousness. But as Prabhupada is writing here, our mission is that intelligent persons of the world may know that simply seeking after sense gratification is not the aim of life. Actually, we should make them convinced that sense gratification is not the aim of life. That is very difficult. It will take many, many months and years for a person to understand this sense gratification is not the aim of life. So that requires a lot of effort. Okay, we'll move on. To wealthy persons, Srila Prabhupada emphasized their responsibility to profusely donate for furthering the cause of Krishna consciousness. A message to the educated and wealthy. One who has education and wealth must use to satisfy their Supreme Personality of Godhead by helping the Sankirtan movement that has already begun, the Hare Krishna movement or the Krishna consciousness movement. All educated and wealthy persons must join this movement, since money and education are meant for service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If money and education are not engaged in the service of the Lord, these valuable assets must be engaged in the service of Maya. This is what the education of the so-called scientists, philosophers, and poets is now engaged in the service of Maya, and the wealth of the rich is also engaged in Maya's service. The service of Maya, however, creates a chaotic condition in the world. Therefore, the wealthy man and educated man should sacrifice their knowledge and opulence by dedicating them for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord and joining this Sankirtan movement. Yajnai Sankirtanai Prayai Yajanti Sumedasa. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 5, Text 32. Okay, Paramatmananda Prabhu, you can read. Start.
Hare Krishna, Pranam.
Pranam, pranam, pranam.
Preaching, preaching to students. I specially want this school and college program. Aware, aware of the necessity of materially qualified persons to direct the affairs of his expanding movement. Srila Prabhupada emphasized the need to recruit educated young people and train them as future leaders of the Krishna consciousness movement. Try to recruit some men from the student class of men for joining us as future leaders of our society. If we simply go on expanding and there are no qualified men to lead, then everything will be spoiled eventually. Regarding your preaching work in the schools, colleges, and universities, try to attract the students. They are our great future hope. Enter into the universities and colleges wherever possible and preach there with a view to recruit some first class devotees for helping me manage and push on this movement all over the world. Overall, there is a shortage of first class, experienced men to manage things to the highest standard, as you are doing. Therefore, I am calling upon you, big leaders, to push this idea forward, namely to attract some educated men to join us. Aim yourself at the top class of men and give them every opportunity and facility to become convinced of our philosophy and engage themselves to their satisfaction. That will be the best contribution. Try to recruit some of the intelligent class of students to take up this Krishna consciousness philosophy and study it carefully. Try to recruit some of such men to become our devotees. There is a need for intelligent young men to train them as future leaders and preachers to go all over the world for spreading the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Your school preaching is very much welcomed by me. We are in need of new recruits to carry out so many ambitious programs here in India. So, if you can infiltrate the school system as you did in America, that will be a great service. We especially have to try to attract the educated young men and women in your country so that in the future there will be many strong leaders to keep our Krishna consciousness movement strong. A similar statement with an added twist. I am so glad to hear that many new boys are coming to London Temple and of good caliber, intelligence, and seriousness. Yes, this is a nice sign. If some intelligent persons join us, then our movement may advance swiftly. This is encouraging. But intelligence or no intelligence, if some way or other somebody comes and sticks to the principles, automatically he becomes intelligent. Declaring colleges and universities to be the best field for our Krishna consciousness preaching work. Srila Prabhupada requested his disciples to push on this college program because only the most intelligent persons can understand Krishna philosophy. The university community is also a prime target for our propaganda work. And I am most pleased to know that classes are being regularly taught at the universities and other classes are using our books as text. He saw great future hope in preaching to students and considered it a prime means for expanding the movement all over the world. I am very encouraged to hear from you that you are teaching Krishna consciousness in the schools. This is our best field for making demons into devotees. So, if you give an intelligent presentation of our Krishna philosophy in all the schools and colleges, there will be no end of devotees to push this movement on all over the world. If we are successful in the matter of attracting the students in America, certainly this movement will be
Hare
famous
Krishna,
for his
Paramatmananda
glorious
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Prabhu, you are not
Hare
audible.
Krishna.
You are not audible.
Okay. How much you heard, Prabhu?
Look, this is our best field. You read from there. You Krishna philosophy. After that, I didn't hear anything.
This is our best field for making demons into devotees. Are you hearing, Prabhu?
Yes, yes. Continue, continue.
Okay. So, if you give an intelligent presentation of our Krishna philosophy in all the schools and colleges, there will be no end of devotees to push this movement on all over the world. If we are successful in the matter of attracting the student community in your country, certainly this movement will scatter all over the world by the foretelling of Lord Chaitanya that in every village and every town of the world, the Lord will be famous for his glorious Sankirtan movement. Please strive for this with your heart and soul, and your life will be a successful mission. In Srila Prabhupada's In Srila Prabhupada's vision, preaching to students in America was the first phase in a strategy for spreading the movement widely. If many of their student class take up this movement, your country's government will help, and if they help, there is immense potency for spreading to all other places. The methodology for approaching students was standard and simple. Kirtan, distribution of prasad and books, and philosophical discussion, all with the aim of attracting and convincing intelligent youths to become devotees. Simply demonstrate chanting and dancing and induce them to participate them, give them nice philosophy talk with questions and answers, distribute prasad profusely and ask them to buy our books and magazines and study them closely. Your program for the university students is very, very nice. Try to do it seriously and with scholarly approach. Yes, your cheap weapon will be prasad because everyone likes to eat nice food. Stops, and then philosophy and other things will come gradually. In this way, try to make many devotees, just like so many of you. My top great disciples came from Buffalo University under the direction of Rupanuga. Preaching in schools, colleges, and universities, along with distribution of our books and prasad, will flourish the propaganda of our mission. Find out some intelligent man from schools, colleges, and being always very tolerant, try to convince them gradually to utilize their intelligence and education in the service of Krishna. Try to attract these students with profuse prasad and nice philosophy, and they will appreciate more and more. In our missive, Srila Prabhupada identified students as the best customers for our philosophy and advocated a combative philosophic approach to convincing them. It is nice that you are infiltrating into the schools and colleges. They are the best customers for our philosophy. Give Give them nice philosophy, let them challenge us with any mundane philosophy, and we shall very scholarly defeat them. Students can be attracted by philosophic challenges and then induced to practice Krishna consciousness. I am pleased to learn that you are teaching a university course in Krishna consciousness. Try to make this program very stimulating for all the students by challenging anyone and everyone to try to defeat our Krishna philosophy with their philosophy. If such discussions can be held, they will be very lively and the student body may take note and enroll in increased number. Philosophy is the highest knowledge, but even higher than philosophy is the practice of philosophy. So, if your students can be enticed to practice Krishna philosophy, they will feel the practical benefit and become convinced. That is Lord Chaitanya's process. A succinct guideline for preaching to students. Preach whatever is palatable to the student class and give them factual Krishna consciousness.
I think we read
Ex-
all those things.
yes, I think so.
Exposing, we read. These exposing.
These marks are there, bro. What?
Mm. Yesterday I read. Yes, actually we are to read from here. Yeah, one second. Yes. Okay, no problem. A little bit. We are reading once again. That's not a problem. Many devotees even don't remember. Okay, can read. Yes, Prabhu.
A succinct guideline for preaching to students. Preach whatever is palatable to the student class and give them factual Krishna consciousness, exposing and combating misleaders. At present, human society is being misled by leaders who are blind, for they do not know the aim and objective of human life, which is self realization and the re establishment. Previous page, bro. Re-establishment of our lost relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the missing point. On this planet Earth, the Rakshasas and the demons have taken charge. This age is very dangerous because society is being managed by demons and Rakshasas. The entire world is now full of many asuras in the guise of politicians, gurus, sadhus, yogis, and incarnations, and they are misleading the general public away from Krishna consciousness, which can offer true benefit to human society. As Srila Prabhupada often pointed out, many contemporary leaders cause tremendous harm with their wrong theories and policies.
Contemporary leaders are causing tremendous harm with these wrong theories and policies. Now, this so-called war, so-called movies, they are of the talk of the town of the people. They don't have any other issue to talk, as if this movie is going to create dharma all over India. So they don't have any brains. They give some nonsense thing and political and religious, some mumbo jumbo, and they are getting carried away. That's all. You see, Prabhupada is the entire world is full of asuras in the guise of politicians and all those things. Yeah. So at least through Prabhupada books, by reading through Prabhupada's books, one should understand that these leaders are all full of asuras. Either you support this party or that party. There's both are demons. Yes.
Because the entire world is now following the imperfect direction of conditioned soul, humanity is completely bewildered. Unfortunately, mundane fools are accepted as educational leaders and are offered exalted posts for teaching irreligious principles to the general populace. At the present moment, there is no ideal section. Everyone is a rascal, demon, rogue, everything. There is no ideal character. Politicians, scientists, and leaders are all drunkards and woman hunters. So, what can they lead? These philosophers have misled the world so much that now it is very difficult to convince them, common people, that there is God speaking and here is religion. Describing the wrongdoing of these misleaders as his greatest grief, Srila Prabhupada called for them to be exposed. They have no knowledge, still they are passing as scientists and philosophers and are misleading people. This is our greatest grief. Therefore, I am requesting you all to make a plan to face these rascals and defeat them. They are misleading the whole human society. Now the Krishna consciousness movement should take this turn. They should not think that these boys and girls, so called Krishnas, are sentimentalists, chanting and dancing. That is, of course, the ultimate goal, but they do not understand. They think that we are simply mental. We are the greatest scientists. We are the greatest philosophers. We are the greatest humanitarians. They should know that. Leaders such as priests, the king or the president, at least they must be above all suspicion. Then the country will be happy. If these men are sinful gamblers, intoxicants, how will their brain work for the good of people? They are not leaders, they are misleaders. These we have to expose to the best extent. Now is the time for making propaganda among the so-called scientists, philosophers, leaders and politicians, because they are misleading the whole world through the bodily concept of life. They are checking the opportunity in human life of becoming Krishna conscious. These rascals who are checking Krishna consciousness or God consciousness and allowing them, common people, in a different concept of life by designations are the greatest enemy of the human society. They are checking the progress of human life.
That is alluring. That is, and that is alluring. Alluring.
Alluring.
Alluring means enticing or to, in one sense, convincing. Okay, Ramdas Prabhu, you raised the hand. What happened? Anything you
No,
want to ask?
you want to share something, yeah. But
Yes.
when you're done, it doesn't have to be now.
And you can tell. Anyhow.
Oh yeah. One thing is that you can see here that Srila Prabhupada is making this point of like how we should preach and how this should be done and to who it should be done to. So Srila Prabhupada is not just he has that realization because he was once a student. It's not just that he's just saying this. He's seen something great as well, and he's also experienced this, right? So this is something that he's not, when you look and see Guru Maharaj also have this same mood that, when you look and see, we should point out, doesn't matter who it is. We should point out, regardless of whoever it is, if somebody's a cheater, we should point it out.
Yes.
It's like we shouldn't stand back and watch somebody cheating. They should
Okay.
be known.
Okay. We have a new devotee here, ST, Bhagyashree Sharma. Mataji, she is your Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pranam Prabhuji.
Pranam, Mataji, you are from which part of the world? India?
Yes,
US?
Prabhuji, India, Bhopal.
Bhopal. Okay, okay. How did you come to know about this reading?
One Mataji sent this,
Link, huh?
yeah,
Okay, okay. Yeah, we have every day from 7:15 to
okay.
8:15.
See. Actually, my
Every
son, he became Yashoda Maya in one plain ISKCON temple. So that Mataji, she sent for him.
okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji, for coming.
Okay, thank you,
Hare,
Prabhuji. So
Hare.
I can join, Prabhuji?
You're already there. You're already joined.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, you can hear. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
Yeah, so
Srila
this
Prabhupada,
preaching. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ramdas Prabhu, you wanted to say more?
This just one other thing about the preaching is that, when one is empowered, they can actually speak directly from Shastra and people will be convinced. But
Yes.
nowadays you can see preacher, they're not speaking directly from Shastra and
Mhm.
telling people all kind of stuff. Hare Krishna, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's the point. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
Srila Prabhupada could be blistering in his condemnation of demonic leaders. I want to kick out these rogues, rascals, thieves, and no good politicians. The whole world is filled with such rogues and thieves. They are stealing the people's hard earned money. They are stealing their land. They are stealing their lifeblood. They are bloodsuckers. A real
What a strong opinion Prabhupada has on about the politicians and leaders. Yes.
A real king is the protector of the people. A real king will see that everyone is living nicely, that all people have food, clothing, care, attention, and medical needs. The king takes so much responsibility that if anyone dies young, he feels responsible. If the son dies before the father, the king feels personally responsible. But these men are stealing. There are no qualified people to be king in this world. We need a king who has honesty, decency, and integrity. Much of Srila Prabhupada's sternest criticism of these foolish leaders was within the very book he
Once.
yes, very book he particularly wanted distributed to them. For instance, the so-called philosophers of modern society are captivated by material name and fame, and they do not lead the
And so they do not. They do not. So.
so they do not lead the general populace in the proper direction. The present chaotic conditions of the world are due to the ignorance of leaders who forget that they have been appointed to act by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Social literary men, scientists, mundane poets, theoretical philosophers, politicians who are completely absorbed in the material advancement of sense pleasure, all are dolls of the material energy. They take pleasure in a place where rejected subject matters are thrown. This is the pleasure of the prostitute hunters. The calamity of having atheists as leaders. People in general are misled by blind leaders. The leaders of human society, the politicians, philosophers, and scientists are blind because they are not Krishna conscious. According to Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, text 15, because they are bereft of all factual knowledge due to their atheistic way of life, they are actually sinful rascals and are the lowest among men. Such people never surrender to Krishna and they oppose the endeavor of those who wish to take Krishna's shelter. When such atheists become leaders of society, the entire atmosphere is surcharged with nescience. In such a condition, people do not become very enthusiastic to receive this Krishna consciousness movement. Well ahead of his time, Srila Prabhupada discerned the policy of deliberate dumbing down. These leaders actually do not want people to be very intelligent. The politicians do not want to see people in higher consciousness. They want to keep the people in darkness and exploit their sentiment for personal arrangements.
This aggrandizement.
Yes. Aggrandizement. Aggrandizement.
Personal aggrandizement.
Yes. They pose to be the friend of the people, but they are actually not. Analyzing in more detail the deleterious effect of the brainwashing by so-called leaders. Unfortunately, people in general do not know what is to take place in the next life to prepare oneself for his next life. In common sense, and it is a principle of
Oh,
the
Prabhu,
Vedic civilization.
Hare Krishna. It is written to
Yes,
prepare oneself for his next life is common sense. Is
yes,
common sense.
is common sense.
You are reading something else. To prepare oneself for his next life is common sense, and it is a principle of the Vedic civilization. Yeah.
Yes. Is common sense, and it is a principle of the Vedic civilization. But presently, people throughout the world do not believe in a next life. Even influential professors and other educators say that as soon as the body is finished, everything is finished. This atheistic philosophy is killing human civilization. People are irresponsibly performing all sort of sinful activities, and thus the privilege of a human life is being taken away by the educational propaganda of the so-called leaders. Actually, it is a fact that this life is meant for preparation for the next life. At present, people do not understand this knowledge, although it constitutes a great science, for they are uneducated and trained not to accept it. This is the horrible condition of modern human society. As such, the Krishna consciousness movement is the only hope to direct the attention of intelligent man to a greater benefit in life. Unfazed by their power and influence, Srila Prabhupada resolved to save such so-called leaders. This Krishna consciousness movement is determined to open wide the eyes of the so-called leaders who are full of ignorance, and thus save them from the many pitfalls and dangerous conditions of life. He
Okay, Prabhu.
wanted his Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay. He wanted his disciples to join him in this compassionate endeavor. Rajapati, you have given us this instruction, Srila Prabhupada, to confront these leaders. We understand that this is your desire, and we shall do everything we can try to fulfill it. Srila Prabhupada, yes, do it. Do it. Engage disciples in preaching to the elites with the confidence that if the misleaders could somehow be induced to take direction from the Krishna consciousness movement, they could confer profound benefit upon human society. Srila Prabhupada personally engaged with influential people and directed his disciples to also do so. Now also we are preaching to the elites, but our devotees are becoming elites in between. Our big preachers, those who are preaching to the elites, they are like big. They are becoming more or less like the celebrities of ISKCON. अरे ये क्या हो रहा है? So the thing is, you can preach to the elites, but don't think you are elite. That is the problem of the preacher. You always People present them as some avatars. They have their own picture on the books. So this is all elite people do. Elite people are like that. They create a fascism. There is a word called fascism. Fascism means the people's propagating themselves. That is called fascism. So this is the problem. That is what Krishna consciousness. You can preach to big people, but at the same time, you should not become so-called big in the guise of thinking that I am preaching to the big, so I'm big. Okay, continuing. I'm especially pleased that you are eager to attract the upper class of your society. First, convince them of our philosophy, then request them very seriously to cooperate with us in spreading this great Krishna consciousness movement. If we get their cooperation, then our prestige and local standing will be very solid and respectable. I'm very pleased that you are developing this program of approaching big businessmen and leaders. Now I want that we shall recruit more and more of our men among the intelligent class of men, because they are little educated, or they have got some wealth or fame or ability. They will sometimes be a little puffed up. Yes. But that is all right. They deserve it. Now we have to learn the art how to approach such high-class men and attract them to apply themselves to this Krishna consciousness process of self-realization. That requires much tact, and we have to expect to meet all challenges by sharp minds. Governmental people were another important grouping that Srila Prabhupada recommended disciples to get on friendly terms with. He wanted that world leaders be given books and become favorably impressed about the work of the Krishna consciousness movement. I like very much your proposal for approaching all the big leaders of the world and presenting them one Bhagavad Gita as it is and one copy of Back to Godhead, along with a letter describing our Krishna consciousness movement. If we simply inform them something by way of the line of our preaching logic and authority, gradually they may come to know about us and help us. Try to convince the world leaders who are in Washington, D.C. about our Krishna consciousness program. Why don't you approach the congressmen and representatives and inform them of the work that our men are doing within their states and cities? If they are favorably impressed with our work, they may be able to give us government land and property and so many other facilities, which we will utilize it to aid all of the population. I think so many men will be glad to receive our books. So please utilize this opportunity. It simply requires determination and imagination. Maybe you can get the Indian ambassador and his wife to hold a meeting at which many important men can be invited. To Shyama Sundara Das, Srila Prabhupada wrote, your proposals for increasing our popularity and familiarity among influential circles in the USA is very good. You may know that when I was in Los Angeles, I especially wanted to use the new temple to attract some influential persons to our movement, but nothing much was done in that regard. We want to be actually successful. We must convince the influential men of your country that everything will follow automatically. So I request you to take this matter very seriously, as I think you have some special talent for it. Srila Prabhupada especially encouraged disciples who are qualified or distinguished in a special field to preach to other successful people in that line. For instance, he wrote to Atreya Rishi Das, who was a highly placed manager in a top accounting firm. I am encouraged that you are preaching to many business acquaintances. That is very important work. So speak to them very frankly and with strength and conviction. And they will see that even though you are yourself a big businessman with a high position and salary, still you are a devotee. And they will also become devotees if you ask them. And if only a few of such businessmen become devotees, they can change the whole world. Prajapati Das, a disciple with theological training. If you simply present some of the popular Western theological viewpoints and then point by point defeat or expose them as speculators who are simply misleading the innocent public, they will be very nice. That will be a very nice service. And intelligent people begin to understand that our philosophy and theology is the absolute truth. And if anyone becomes Krishna conscious, that is the highest perfection of understanding philosophy. Then our Krishna consciousness movement will advance very quickly because the common people respect the opinions of the intelligent scholars. So if you work in this way to convince the intelligent class of men, that will be a very great service and also the proper use of your educational training. Thank you very much for helping me in this way. One major method for influencing the better class of people was by introducing them to Srila Prabhupada's books. Yes. In this regard, Srila Prabhupada instructed an assistant, do every word of our books meticulously and perfectly accurately transcribed so the most erudite and deep thinking men of the world can enter into the intricacies of meaning in each verse. He expressed his desire that businessmen, economists, religionists, students, etc., will all be carrying Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and Gita. Okay, regarding this, I want to just tell you one, just thinking of one thing. One devotee was asked in a YouTube podcast that can you suggest 5 books for people to read? Then that devotee told Bhagavad Gita in 1 second. In 1 second, anyhow, I'll tell you about. Anyhow, you should read Bhagavad Gita. And second one is Mahabharata. And third one, he told about his own guru's book. Fourth and fifth, he told about some nonsense book, leadership books. He's a devotee, you know. And I was not at all convinced with that video. I don't know, many devotees would have heard that particular video on YouTube. So the thing is, influential people means we should give only Prabhupada's books. 5 books means, what are the 5 books we should give? Bhagavad Gita, whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna book, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction. This is what is important. 5 books. And Ishopanishad if you want. Nectar of Instruction. These are the books people should read. Second Chance. Laws of Nature. What else? Naturalist Gift. Beyond Birth and Death. Important books. Civilization and Transcendence. Perfection of Yoga. Path of Perfection. The teachings of Lord Kapila. Teachings of Lord Prahlad Maharaj. Teachings of Narad Muni. So these are the books people should read. These are the books people should be given. What is that? The Last Supper. What is that? The leaders, why leaders eat at last? Why you want to give that book? Count your chickens before they hatch. What is that? The monk who sold his Ferrari. These are all bogus books. Monk who sold his Ferrari. What kind of books they are? Professors could be induced to preach on our behalf and introduce Srila Prabhupada's books to the students. The program of approaching the professors to introduce our books in their classrooms, that is the right idea. In that way, the reading class, the professors can be induced to preach on our behalf. Introducing the books to the students is a form of preaching. Yes, that we do in the colleges in India. We go to every room, every college room, every college classroom, and then speak about the books for at least 5 minutes, and then give everybody a chance to go through the book, and then give them a slip wherein they write their name and tell them to bring bring money next day. Whoever brings money, we give the books to them. It's a very great process. People can start doing it in their local colleges. Even we used to go to 12th and 11th and 12th standard also. I mean, +1, +2, they say. 11th and 12th standard also we used to go and distribute in Hyderabad, we did, in Salem, we did, in Rajapalayam, we did, in Shivakasi, we did, in Hyderabad, in Secunderabad, in Gujarat, many places. If they do like that, then spending time with them is very, very desirable and effective. To devotees who started a center in Iran, wow. Srila Prabhupada advised preaching to the upper classes there. Now I think that center is not there, I suppose, because the regime changed to Islamic regime. Previously it was secular government, and then they changed it to Islamic regime. Then many things have changed. The life membership program was introduced to approach a respectful gentleman for the purpose of giving the intelligent men the society of an opportunity to help push on this great movement of pure Vedic culture. The Bhaktivedanta Institute, formed for organizing scientific presentations of Krishna consciousness, was meant to engage devotee scientists with advanced university degrees in expounding Krishna consciousness to scientists in a specifically scientific format. Described by Srila Prabhupada as our most important preaching arm, it was an outstanding example of his directing disciples in preaching to a specialized elite. George Harrison. George Harrison was the only internationally famous figure who took serious interest in Krishna consciousness, and his role in the early spreading of the movement was inestimable. George was one of the Beatles, a music group who were phenomenally popular in a period beginning shortly before Srila Prabhupada's arrival in America and lasting until the group dissolved in 1971. The individual members continued to be celebrities throughout their lives. The influence they had upon the youth in the Western world, even behind the Iron Curtain, is hard to imagine for persons who are not present in that ethos. Actually, when I want to tell I think Ramdas Prabhu also would have had this experience preaching in America, distributing books in United States. Many people know in United States George Harrison and John Lennon. They love their songs a lot, and we used to show this Chant and Be Happy. I have the bundle wrapped in with the Chant and Be Happy at the end, and many people just take the book by telling them that this book is there, and Prabhupada had conversation with George Harrison. Immediately they take the Chant and Be Happy and Bhagavad Gita. We have 4 small books or Science of Self-Realization. It's like a Bhakta stack, So we distributed so many books. Many people know about George Harrison. Still now he is famous. Although they are Beatles band, nobody is alive now, but still their fame is there. George was first cultivated by Shyamasundar Das and other pioneers in London, and later also by Srila Prabhupada personally. Several of his contributions were instrumental in the rapid efflorescence of the Hare Krishna movement worldwide. The first was his audio recording of the London devotees. The resulting 45 RPM disc, the Hare Krishna mantra, sold millions worldwide, thrust the devotees to stardom, generated much needed funds, and most importantly, made Hare Krishna a household word. The next recording that Sri George made with the devotees, Govindam, also sold well, although not spectacularly as the Hare Krishna mantra. Still, the Govindam recording has enduring relevance. On Srila Prabhupada's order, it has become part of the daily liturgy in all ISKCON centers. The Hare Krishna mantra and Govindam were featured with other songs on the Radha Krishna Temple album, another George Harrison production. I remember coming to the temple first time and then attending the morning program first time. I was mesmerized and I was shocked to hear guitar playing, because that starts with guitar. Ting, ting. It's like it starts with guitar. And then the whole modern music, it has nothing to do with kartal or mridanga. Kartal is there in that. But what even mridanga is also there, but many modern instruments are used. I was thinking, what is this? The modern some song people are singing, It's like Western people singing. Many Indians, they cannot relate, they cannot understand what they are singing. Something is going on. Adi, something, what is this? Govindam, Adi Purusham. They cannot understand what is going on. I don't know, many devotees would have, what is their personal experience hearing this particular Govindam Adi Purusham song in the first time. If you have anybody, they can share. Maybe we have 1 or 2 minutes. Actually, this song, when I first heard it, I was a little bit shocked, and then it took at least one day to understand, and then slowly I understood. It was good. It was good at that time. I didn't feel anything. Many people feel, what is this? You have Western music going on immediately after the deities are open. I don't know. If devotees have some experience, they can share. It's a Western music. It's exam Western. You have guitar, you have piano, we have so many things in that. It's a symphony. Prabhupada said the Govinda Madhipurusham song is like the orchestra, symphony of ISKCON. Symphony means orchestra, means so many people singing at the same time. So, yes. I'll complete this one. It's so much. George himself sang about Krishna, and his most famous and best-selling selling single, My Sweet Lord. Devotees have heard this, My Sweet Lord? Actually, I heard many times.
Yes.
My Sweet.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Ramdas Prabhu, did you hear that My Sweet Lord?
I heard it. A lot of people tell me about it actually when I'm on books.
Yeah. Many people tell about All You Need Is Love and Be Here Now. These are the two songs which are very famous. Be Here Now is very famous, and All You Need Is Love is also very famous. George Harrison song. George himself sang about Krishna and his famous and best-selling single, My Sweet Lord. Actually, George Harrison did this My Sweet Lord live in many places. Even in Bangladesh, he did this. In Dhaka, he was doing this event for raising funds for Africa somewhere. So he did it, and it was very famous. That video is there on YouTube. If somebody wants to watch, they can watch. My Sweet Lord, George Harrison, Bangladesh. 1970 included Hare Krishna in the lyrics. Some 10 years after its release, Mukunda Goswami remarked I don't think it is possible to calculate just how many people were turned on to Krishna consciousness by your song, My Sweet Lord. Yes, it is a very famous song and beautiful song. The Beatles' success brought them prodigious wealth, and George's largesse means generosity. Okay. Made possible Srila Prabhupada's publishing of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in 2 large volumes in 1970. This book introduced the personality and pastimes of Krishna to the world and even to Srila Prabhupada's disciples in an elaborate and unprecedented manner. Sales of Krishna book, as devotees informally referred to it, eventually ran into millions, a prime selling point being George's endorsement featured in the introductory pages. Okay, we will continue from here from tomorrow. So I will put a bookmark without forgetting. So that. Okay. Okay, if devotees want to say, share, or something, so feel free to unmute yourself and speak. No problem. Mataji's, Prabhuji's.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna.
एलिट का मतलब क्या है?
एलिट का मतलब होता है बड़े लोग, माता जी, जो सोसाइटी में बहुत इन्फ्लुएंशियल रहते हैं, उनके बोलने से, उनके हालचाल से, उनके जीवन से जो प्रभावशाली, ऐसे बोल सकते हैं हिंदी में, प्रभावशाली व्यक्ति, मतलब
अच्छा।
जैसे नरेंद्र मोदी जी हो गए, या तो अजीत डोलवाल हो गए, या तो अमित शाह हो गए, या तो मतलब बड़े यूट्यूबर्स, उनको इलीट माना जाता है, जैसे अंबानी हैं, जैसे अदानी है, मतलब उनके साथ एक फोटो खींचने से लोग सोचते हैं हम लोग प्रचार करते हैं और बहुत बड़ा है, वो आते हैं आपके पास। ओके ओके, सो इस तरह के से इलीट मतलब बहुत प्रभावशाली व्यक्ति जो समाज में उनके उनके चाल चलन से, उनके जो विचारों से प्रभाव डालते हैं लोगों के बीच में, यूथ के बीच में, युवकों के बीच में, समाज में बड़े पैमाने पे वो इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं, उनको इलीट बताया जाता है ऐसा।
Okay, Prabhuji.
थैंक यू। एनीथिंग एनीबडी वांट्स टू आस्क और से? ओके, we will stop here and we'll meet tomorrow at this time at 7:15 Tuesday. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Pancha kalpataru कृपा सिंधुभ्यो